one of the cool things about off-roading is when you're going from place to place and you find the weird crap in between. Like there's not a whole lot of stuff going on in Green River, Utah, but you end up stopping there. And then you find out, oh, there used to be a launch complex here for rockets. And oh, they have a watermelon festival. And then did you guys know that for the last 6 years, they have something called the watermelon crawl, where you essentially get on an ATV and do like a 25-mile ATV ride in and around the river?
I've heard the country song.
I think that's where they got it from.
Hey, everybody, this is Josh from LavaBox and protectourrivers.org, and you're listening to The Trailhead.
Rev it up, let it roar, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailhead's calling, engine power on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every Jeep a home. At the trailhead, where the wild ones run, the dust kicks high and the day's not done. The road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.
All right. Well, let's do this again. Welcome to the Trailhead, everybody. I am JD. Tonight we have got a skeleton crew. Actually, we ended up having a full panel of folks. We have our.
Oh, darn.
I just dropped. We have our. Well, let's do this again. Welcome to the Trailhead, everybody. Yeah.
Got it.
Heard that. It's all right. We're all. This is a shit show. We know it's a shit show. The big
Technical difficulties tonight.
The biggest shit show in off-roading. Sound like a staple gun. Your wife calling you out, Brian.
Oh, it sounds like a staple gun?
Yep.
Oh, thanks, Kate. Love you too. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Is it tonight? Don't tell me it's tonight. Because if it's
It
tonight,
is.
is it really?
But since I was sick, we're celebrating it tomorrow.
All right. Kate, if you reach out to me on the side, like if he's blowing you off for us, let me know and I'll take care.
No, I'm doing a flat iron. I'm doing a hanger steak with chimichurri and building her a fire pit so that she can watch the world burn in a safe,
contained world burning environment. Okay, fair enough. All right, good deal.
And happy anniversary, babe.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, babe. So that's Brian. How you doing? We've been over that. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
I enjoy having you on now. It's now you've graduated from being our unpaid intern to being a regular guest host. I like it a lot.
I'll take the promotion. Thank you.
Good deal. It still doesn't pay anything, just so you know. Because I'm still not getting paid anything. Yeah, we can discuss it as much as you want to. There's still no money.
Yeah, does that mean my Patreon is now a conflict of interest?
Probably, but we don't really worry about that shit here, so you're fine. This is we don't even have a real sponsor. If you want to be a real sponsor, please reach out to JD at thetrailheadnetwork.com and we can talk. But no, it's just a shit show. Alyssa, how are you?
I'm good.
How's Ezra?
Doing my. He's all clean.
All clean. All right, good deal.
I gave him a bath, so I wrestled like a 95-pound wolf for the last 30 minutes.
It's never fun. Does he like it? Does he hate it?
He doesn't hate it. He will stand there and not be happy, but he'll stand there.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's better than
good. Absolutely, yeah, way better than fighting. But he has long fur, so that's another game too. I feel so bad. It takes so long to rinse all the soap out, and then it takes forever for him to dry. So I'm letting him air dry right now. When we're done, I'll blow dry him.
When I had a golden retriever, that was the one thing that I would pay for was the occasional grooming. I'm just like, I can't with him. I took him out one time and he got so jacked in terms of just the mud on his hair underneath. I'm just like, I can't even, like, we're just like, I called the shop, like, I don't even want to deal with this. Can you guys take him in? And they took him in. So yeah, I'm glad to have a short haired dog now. It's very nice. He still hates the bath and he smells. Have you ever had a short haired dog? Like a what is it? One coat dog?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I was unaware of the fact that these dogs need a bath on a regular basis because they just start to smell. Like he gets Frito-y, so like very, very much like Frito-Lay chips, and it's like once a month he has to get a bath, otherwise he stinks. It's weird. So I mean, maybe it's just because he does so much with me in the G. Anyway. All right. Well, let's see here. We don't have a topic per se. We kind of kicked it around to see if we had one to go at, but we're going to try to make sure we got a topic for the next the live show. I think we should just do one instead of just news and stuff. But we do have a lot of news stuff to go through, and we just kind of have I mean, it's been a busy week, and I know Pope isn't here to do the news, and he's going to be very disappointed, but there is a Stellantis thing, so at least Randy doesn't have to hear about it. All right. In the meantime, I want to give a Patreon shout out to our conflict of interest here, Nathan and Al. And if you want to be like them, be awesome and help us out a little bit, throw us essentially a cup of coffee a month. Check out the trailheadnetwork.com and just click on the support us link. And thanks to Mike Randall, who reminded and or just told me we did not have a link to our review page on Apple. If you scroll down on the main page now, they're right above the latest episode is a link to go leave us a review on Apple. And if you do that, as soon as we get to 30, we're going to give away a gang panel switch that I've had in my closet that has never been used, along with a bunch of t-shirts and all kinds of swag and whatever else I managed to pick up between now and the time that we get the next 9 reviews. And then I did get an email today from our last reviewer. He followed up with me to make sure that he got us his information. And totally get it, man. He'd taken a break after January, and we all did. We all took a little bit of a break, and I get it. So yeah, just leave us a review on Apple. Leave me a note, JD at the trailheadnetwork.com, and I will get you added to the giveaway list. We'll give it away. We'll make a big deal out of it, and then maybe we'll have you on the show too. Why not? We have everybody on the show, so, and I'm here for that too. We do not have a voicemail because our prolific voicemailer is here with us tonight. So, but if you would like to leave us a voicemail, please do so at 719-408-0132. And you can always visit us at the trailheadnetwork.com.
It's kind of BS. I mean, he should actually still have to give a voicemail every week.
You know what? I should be an ass about it and make all of you leave a voicemail every week. Like, I
can't remember the phone number, so you'll have to text me the phone number.
408. If I text you the number, you'd forget it.
Probably.
If only there was a website that had it, you could find it.
I forgot the website already.
If only I repeated 719-408-0132 multiple times throughout the show.
Oh, and it's on the bottom.
It is. It's on the bottom of the Instagram Live too. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. It's all handy for everybody. How does the Instagram Live look? Looks good?
We got 4 people.
It's all right. I mean, 3 of them are us.
And say one was
actually,
me.
I think all of them are us. Yeah. The only person that might not be is Josie if she's still with us. But that's okay. Well, they'll get there.
She's probably at the Salt Lake Off-Road Festival.
They're all
or Off-Road Expo or whatever it is.
We are all the losers that are not at the Salt Lake Off-Road Expo. Is that what it is? Salt Lake Off-Road Expo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Salt Lake City Off-Road Expo.
It's a lot. It's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up, Alyssa?
No, I was spelling it in my head. SLCORE.
Okay. Yeah.
I've had a really long day.
All right. I'm sorry. Well, thank you for we won't be here too long tonight. The next part is when Pope isn't here. the two of us tend to not go back and forth so much, so it makes it better. And yeah, in terms of time anyway. All right. So yeah, I have a Jeep update, and I'm actually let me double check here before I go off. All right, I did not receive. Oh, I did. No, I did not get an email or a phone call. So I took the Jeep back in on Tuesday, and yeah, I definitely do not see an email from Tom. So I'm gonna assume I haven't heard from you. Damn it! All right, so I'm gonna blast him a little bit. I took the Jeep in on Tuesday to again check for this oil leak that they told me that they had found the first time, and with their explanation was that they found a leak in the oil pan seal. Skeptical, but I'm like, okay, you fine. They cleaned the hell out of it underneath there. Come back about 2 weeks later, then I had more dripping underneath there. You're all caught up now on the oil saga, other than I've been leaking oil in some manner for at least 2 years because I'm burning it somewhere. So today, after not hearing from them all week, what was the answer? Rear main seal is leaking. And somehow that's not, they didn't misdiagnose it the first time. So this is separate, apparently, than the oil leak on the bottom of the pan. And I'm just like, I don't buy that. I can't buy that for a minute. I think you found oil on the oil pan, so you diagnosed the oil pan because it's easier to get to than a main seal.
Mm-hmm.
So, that sounds right.
Yeah. So I expect that to be a fight come Monday, and then they're trying to tell me that they might not have it to me until the end of this coming week. And I'm just like, so you will have had it for almost 2 weeks at that point? No, we need to get this shit together because now I'm over it. So
Yeah,
that's
on top of all the other times.
Well, and this is the new guys. Like I actually don't have an issue with them really per se, but it's just anytime you're working with a dealership, you're constantly in that situation where they're not necessarily always I know that they say that they're looking out for the best interest of the customer, but I know that they've got to look at a bottom line, and they've got their business as a whole to look after. But in the same breath, it's just like, just fucking fix it. Like, you get paid to fix it. Like, they actually get paid by Chrysler to do this warranty work. So just do it. Just do it and stop fighting me on it. And I feel like they could have diagnosed it right the first time. And that goes for all of them. These days, a lot of those shops take the easy way and they just start there. So
all I can picture is you and the dealership being like rock 'em, sock 'em.
And here's the thing. So I used to be like that. Like, I used to be, because I can't suffer idiots when it comes to that stuff. And if you treat me like I'm stupid, I'm going to treat you like you're an idiot and a moron. And you're going to hear about it loudly. And the problem is that even in a situation these days where I'm probably just in a lot of ways for my anger and being upset about stuff, because of the Karens out there that get upset about the nothings. Me getting upset about something justified doesn't do anything to anybody anymore. Everybody just looks at you like you're just the ranting, raving customer. And so you have to approach it these days you have to approach it from a disappointed dad standpoint. Like, you gotta, like, I really understand that you guys work really hard in these cars, but you really screwed up this time and you got to explain to me why. And otherwise I don't feel like you get any kind of response from them. So.
Yeah, and I don't have a lifetime warranty, so I don't really have to worry about it. But I definitely avoid going to the dealership. Hey, no, it's work. It saves you money. It's all
No, I know.
I got one warranty work done on my Jeep when it still had a warranty.
Yep.
But I have a buddy that's worked at a dealership as a service tech for probably pushing almost 20 years now at this point. And it's not a Jeep dealer, but they basically function on time calculation per project bid. And their goal is to beat that time so they can pump as many paid hours through. So if it says, hey, this is a 10-hour fix, they get paid to fix it in 10 hours, even if they can get it done in 6 hours. So my concern is I don't want it fixed fast. I want it fixed the right way. Like I don't want somebody speed racing, putting my motor back together so they can get to the next one and then the next one. So that's always my concern.
Well, and that's going to be the conversation that I'm going to have with them next week now about this. Cause yeah, you probably didn't cause the main seal issue, but you didn't diagnose it right. And that concerns me about the other work that you did. Like I need to be able to, I want to trust a shop. That's all I want. Like I have not found a shop that I trust in Colorado since I moved here, not 100%. And it's disappointing to me. I feel like there's a lot of shops here, and I'm sure if I was able to drive to Denver more, like high country performance 4x4 and stuff like that, it's just such a slog to get up there for me from the Colorado Springs area. But it's
there's not a lot left in Colorado Springs.
No.
High country's good. High country's good. They're expensive, but they're good.
Yeah, they're expensive. Edge is good. I've had good experiences with both, but again, and you're talking price and getting up there, and honestly, anything in Colorado 4x4 specific is going to be a little bit more expensive because most of the time you're paying for a little bit higher level of expertise because you're not at a dealership. You're actually at a place that's supposed to know what it is that they're doing. So, although some
don't
places
worry, it's only going up.
Right.
Most people can't change their own oil or change their own tire anymore. So any skilled labor like that is only going to become more expensive as we go forward.
I don't know. I feel like those kinds of skill, I think that kind of stuff might swing back in the other direction where people want to start learning how to do this shit more for themselves again.
I hope so.
Because they don't want to pay for it. And I mean, I can't and don't want to get under my Jeep to do an oil change, but I'm more interested about learning how to do it now than I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I will say my Jeep is the easiest one to change the oil on. Once you lift it, I don't even have to jack it up. I just crawl underneath, pull the plug, and drain the oil. Now I use a little step stool to put the filter and fill the oil on the top because it's so high now, and I got a stinger to get around in the front. But it's the easiest oil change vehicle I've ever had.
Oh, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole again.
Maybe I should just no, we're not. Maybe I should just let them leave the main seal leak, and then I never have to get the oil changed again. Every
just
2,000
keep topping it
miles,
off.
I just top off a quart of oil.
Yeah, you just cycle oil through. It's a constant oil change.
Oh, not if you're in Arizona. I mean, we were in Arizona and we needed to put oil in the truck to get back to, because the truck, I guess, it burned some oil towing. Okay. Stop in Wickenburg, and at this little gas station right off the highway, it was $17 for full synthetic oil. I was like, I'm gonna go find me a dinosaur on my own. $17 for a quart.
Parks are
for
closed.
1 quart.
Yeah. Sounds like they knew they were the only place with oil probably within a good.
They're the only place. Yeah, they're the only place next to, like, it's once you hit Wickenburg, and you can stop and wiki up, but I don't recommend it. It has sidewalks. It has sidewalks. Like one side of the road looks really nice. The other side looks like it looks like it went through like that nuclear blast. Except for that side is also the river side. So it's really weird. Wickiup is I mean, you roll into town and there's Snoopy riding a rocket.
Well, I mean,
it's a trip.
There's some interesting places in it. One of the cool things about off-roading is when you're going from place to place and you find the weird crap in between. Like there's not a whole lot of stuff going on in Green River, Utah, but you end up stopping there. And then you find out, oh, there used to be a launch complex here for rockets. And oh, they have a watermelon festival. And then did you guys know that for the last 6 years, they have something called the watermelon crawl, where you essentially get on an ATV and do like a 25-mile ATV ride in and around the river?
I've heard the country song.
I think that's where they got it from. So I'm assuming that you're not allowed technically to drink on there, but we also have plenty of ways to cover drinking.
It used to have Utah's best burger. It went out of business.
Did that place really go out of business?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. The taco stand's still open, right?
Well, one of the 5 times I actually overlanded, we stopped outside of Green River and went to this like Hoodoo State Park in Utah. It was really creepy, because those van life people are weird.
Alyssa, I don't think
know
he's
the
taking
man.
a
Don't look at me.
no, but I don't think he's taking a direct shot. But I would.
I'm not. No,
That hit
no.
my
I have
face a
nothing.
little bit. I think at least it felt the
No,
wind.
it hasn't. It was that. That was not. I tried. That was our very first overlanding trip,
Okay.
and I had this thing. We had this thing called Deep Sleep for Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I know many people have them, and I know many people like them, but many of them are midgets.
This is a true story.
A 6 foot, 225-pound man with a 56-pound dog cannot sleep on that thing in the back of a Jeep, let alone also have a wife. I mean, I would have been more comfortable sleeping on a Hoodoo.
Well, if you'd done it right, your wife would have been sleeping on a. Never mind. That's.
dog was
the
there.
Sorry,
Come
Kate.
on.
Yeah, I get it. Well, hey, look, okay.
Not to mention, okay, so we do that overlanding trip, and that was, I mean, it wasn't bad. I can't say that it was horrible. I did it again to, when she gets bucked off a horse once, you got to get back on it and try it again. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
It has nothing to do with overlanding. Overlanding, you know what? I think it's a great outlet for a lot of people that have the passion and the love for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
And I would not have known Alyssa if I didn't overland.
Yes. Did you overland out here?
Yes.
Or like your way out here? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that.
Sedona, but it's like I didn't camp, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You came out here. That's true.
See?
Yeah. Was it that trip? Where was your like route for the Utah one that you're talking about?
Oh, now you're gonna actually have to. I had to go through my photos and look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Kate would know better.
Was it part of Green Valley or no?
Oh
Or
no,
is
we
Green Valley part
stopped
of
in
it?
Green River and got wood because
River.
Kate likes to watch the world burn. She's a pyro.
Leave her alone.
Mhm.
I'm not. She knows that she's a pyro.
I'm sticking up for you, Kate. Does Kate have her own LavaBox too? Because they have a big one now, like it's just a giant flame. Like
It's a
Yeah,
Timber
so you
one,
can't burn
and she
wood.
doesn't like the propane because she
I'm the
can't get the
same.
fire big enough.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot less
Well,
fun.
Oh.
no.
She likes the
It gives off
volume.
a different. Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go to Alyssa. Yeah.
It gives off a different heat. Like
That is
I know the propane is safer, but wood fires give off a hotter heat. It's just different.
It's a more
And some of them
radiant
smell
heat.
better.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
more radiant heat. The
Yeah.
propane pit's always it's essentially just a jet of fire at you constantly,
there.
not just Now
Mhm.
the LavaBox, they just came out with a giant one it's got like a 3-foot tall flame, or it's called the Boombox.
That's nice
They must
because
have switched from 7.62 round boxes to 50 cal boxes.
This shit's ridiculous. Like it's pretty cool. I kind of want one, but I also recognize I don't have
You don't have a lot of room.
I don't have a lot of room. That's the 2 doors, man. But it's giant.
there's other ones that size.
Holy cow!
Maybe not the big one, but
Yeah. So I'm already subscribed, guys. Thank you.
I mean, you might not have a lot of room, but if you think about it, compared to an actual fire pit and wood, you're saving a lot of space in your vehicle or something like that.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
This is definitely for overlanders. Yeah. Portable campfire, camp stove, and a Dutch oven.
Ooh, Dutch oven. There you go.
And it does
The
happen.
X is a Dutch oven too. So yeah, this one's
Okay.
pretty cool. But
I
they,
mean,
Go
it's
ahead.
not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
saying
here's-
it's bad. I mean, it'd be
No.
great. It'd be great for the glow party if we didn't have that big fire that we already do for the glow party at Trail Hero.
well, it's also that's not really dangerous to do a giant fire in the middle of the sand. So yeah, okay. Oy. All right. Well, all right. So enough. We kind of talked about mine. Does anybody else have any vehicle issues, or am I the only jackass with a problem this week?
I changed my oil 2 days ago.
Well, that doesn't count. that means everything's functioning
when
like
it changed. No,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm with you on the oil change.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Trying.
Yeah. Brian, did you break anything?
No.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Well, I got a wheel to break something, and I haven't been out. I was supposed to go on Sunday and go wheeling, and hopefully, and cross my fingers I don't break anything. And then you know, it's been a little chilly here. I mean, during the day it's in the 70s, so it's a little chilly.
Shut up. You know, we were having such a nice time.
No, with EJS coming up, it's prep for EJS. Everything's prep for EJS because we're gone for basically a month. Once we leave our house for EJS, it's getting the house prepped and getting everything ready, going and helping other people work on their Jeeps to get them ready for EJS. And, you know, and then we leave straight from EJS to go to Jeep Beach. Then Jeep Beach, I have to come back here for Trail Hero X. And then
you can fly back for that, right? Though you don't need a vehicle.
No,
right?
we'll drive back.
Okay.
What's up? I mean, then Kate has to drive back for it, like drive alone with the Jeep.
Oh yeah, all right.
I mean, Trail Hero X isn't. I mean, we got 10 days between the end of Jeep Beach to make it back home.
Oh, okay. So you get a little bit. It's not like you got a deadheaded.
No, and I've got, you know, with Starlink now, it makes life a whole lot easier. You know, it's hard mounted into the Jeep. Actually, I can't say it's hard mounted. It's on a Milwaukee pack out, built into that, so that anytime I take it out, I can move it to any vehicle I want.
Oh, cool. That's what works.
That's awesome. I've seen that hack.
Yeah, it's and then so it's, you know, getting the Jeep ready. I'm waiting for new seats to show up. And then, you know.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I don't have new seats, but I did get some seat covers and I owe them a video. I gotta get that finished this weekend. All right. And Nathan, you haven't been out either, right? You haven't.
No, I should be going here this Sunday, actually 2 days. So hopefully everything will work out and I'll get out. I skipped the February run, which from when I talked to a couple people that went and worked out, we had an ice storm come through and they one truck coming in with the side-by-side jackknifed at like the entrance to the park. That's how bad the ice was just getting into like the gate and parking area. So They said they were in the park maybe 20 minutes, went to one trail and realized it wasn't a good idea and turned around and left. So yeah, so I wasn't too sad I missed it that day.
All right. Well, good deal. I mean, the nice part about winter is that we can't break them any more than they already are. So, you know, if it wasn't for mechanical problems, my Jeep would just be sitting quietly in the garage, occasionally getting you know, let's fix this thing and fix this thing before we get out in the, but yeah.
Yeah, I got a pile of parts sitting in the game room for it, but I ain't working on it in the cold. I ain't that desperate.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I've got a whole bunch of little things that I want to do, but it's been too cold here until the last 2 weeks where the Jeep has been in the shop, and now it's been nice to do it, and I haven't had it home to do it. So I'm really cranky about it today. I'm really, really cranky.
About it.
Yeah. Well, I just tell me, like, get a hold. Like, I shouldn't go 2 days without an update. All right, I'm done.
Open my garage door just to say hello to Beatrice at least once a day.
Oh, I can see him.
I can put 40 miles a day on mine taking it to work. So
I used to do that. I kind of still do that, but it depends. I'm taking Jen's car more often because I realize I'm paying higher insurance rates for the Camaro, so I may as well drive it more. Which is ironic. Okay. It's ironic that I'm paying higher insurance rates for her car. It's
because it gets stolen a lot.
Yeah, not out of my garage. It doesn't.
No, but in Colorado, Camaros get stolen a lot.
Yeah, no, it's amazing to me. She's got a 2013 Camaro. It's got 50,000 miles on it. So I'm gonna start using it more. All right. Well, that's probably good for updates and stuff. I don't want to talk about my Jeep anymore, but we can talk about Stellantis.
Do it.
Let's do
Everyone's
this
favorite parent
Stellantis
company.
story. Everybody's favorite parent company.
Everybody's favorite.
I'm going to preface this by saying two things. One, we're doing news without Pope today. So Pope, I'm sorry for when you are hearing this, but you just weren't here today. We have to do news. It's timely. And I also recognize while we're doing stories about how much Stellantis sucks in the moment, they are very early in the course corrections phase of trying to get out of the skid that they put themselves into. This story just struck me just because the number was just really ridiculous. Should we do the? Let's see if I can do this way.
Time for the Pope to read the news.
Wait, JD,
we got the fucking Pope?
No, it's still JD.
We don't even have the Pope.
Sorry, Trailheads. I'm now told
No,
it's just a guy named Pope
just
reading
a
the
guy
news.
named JD. Yeah. Okay. So Stellantis profits plunge 70% amid market struggles. Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and the other global brands that we talk about all the time here, reported a staggering 70% drop in net profits for 2024, falling to $5.77 billion from last year's $19.5 billion. Revenue also took a hit, sliding 17% to $164.6 billion, with vehicle shipments down, 12%. The culprit, bloated U.S. inventory, forcing Stellantis to cut shipments and boost incentives to move vehicles off lots. Ask Carrie Trail Traveler. Ask Carrie Garrison about incentives to get those gladiators off a lot. Meanwhile, in Europe, EV sales mandates created disruptions, further dragging the company's bottom line. This news comes as Stellantis has already faced criticism for the EV strategy and pricing, particularly with Jeep. Just last year, the company dropped the price of the Jeep Avenger EV in Europe to stay competitive, while U.S. consumers balked at the high price of the Wagoneer S and the Recon. With sales lagging, Stellantis is now shifting gears, planning the 10 new vehicle launches in 2025 that we hinted at last week, and focusing on profitability over raw volume. For Jeep lovers and off-roaders, the big question is how this impacts future models. Will Stellantis double down on its Dare Forward EV strategy, or will we see a return to a more traditional combustion offerings to keep the core enthusiast base happy? Either way, the company's stock took a hit, dropping 3.5% after the news as investors react to the uncertainty ahead. With the industry in flux, all eyes will be on whether Stellantis can balance EV mandates, customer demand, and profitability without alienating its off-road roots. I mean, 70%, though. Like, I work for a large company, and numbers like that, if the CEO wasn't already out, he would be out.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I think they have to. Let's do. They can do the RCA on that. They got bloated inventory. Why? Because they bloated all the pricing.
Right.
Like it's only a certain aspect of who's going to buy it when you want to try to charge that much for a vehicle.
I think, and I think we kind of hinted at this before, right? Like they've been trying to turn Jeep into a luxury brand when its customers aren't luxury branders. Like if you want a luxury brand of Jeep, then you need to spin off a new brand, buy Porsche or do something stupid with who is it? Is it Ford wants to get rid of Maserati? Buy Maserati.
Well, but no, Jeep just canceled that deal.
Were they gonna? Oh, okay.
The problem is
Stellantis was gonna buy Maserati. I'm more absurdly. So the guy, our friend Carlos, made $106 million as the CEO during his tenure as CEO of Stellantis.
Yeah.
$106 million.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? As much as I would like to give him shit for taking it, I think that's really more of that's the board on them bringing him in, giving that to him, and then letting him do that for 5 years. Wasn't that he was there for
and so from 2021 to 2024, 4 years.
4 years.
He made in 2021 he made $2 million, roughly $2 million. But as his total by the time he got fired, it was $106 million. $106,200,000 US dollars.
Look
to destroy
you
a
got to
company.
raise all the prices because you got to pay the CEO. Like that's it's just poor business planning. When you look at any of these vehicle manufacturers, think about it. The production is the most automated and streamlined it's ever been, ever.
Yeah.
Like you see some of the videos from inside the factories, they don't even have to have individual production lines. They can build one car after another, different makes or different models, because everything gets delivered. The right seats, the right dash, everything comes down. Computer tracks the whole thing. So if you can't, be profitable in quotes without selling a truck for $70,000+, that's not the market. That's bad business strategy, and to be blunt, greed at a certain level.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
look at
think
1500 series pickup truck.
Yeah.
They're like 60K
exactly.
and up. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, and I think people that would tell you that they had bought, one of those Cherokees, the 4XE Cherokees that they recalled. My neighbor who can finally park his in the garage again. I think they would tell you that, the quality maybe doesn't necessarily match the prices that they're trying to sell it at. And I think people recognize that. People know, Jeep has a reputation that they make a decent vehicle, but they don't necessarily make the sturdiest of vehicles in some manner in terms of there's always a problem with them in some way, shape, or form. And I think that haunted them as well. Like, so you try to turn these vehicles and relaunch them as a luxury brand when people like us know Jeeps have issues here and there. And you can't tell me that spending
We have
$70,000
more issues than Playboy.
That was a good joke.
And the
That was a
problem
good
is,
joke,
though,
everybody.
everything's a luxury brand now. That's the thing. Like, there used to be, like, you had like Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, and then you had GM, Buick, and all them. Like, they had their different brands. You got a different badge, you got some leather, you got some fancy accoutrements, and that's kind of how they did it. Now that they've pared back, they want to put leather, the radio, all the bells and whistles in every model. So you don't have a low end entry level model anymore. Like, to me, I look at, my oldest turns 18 here soon, he's graduating high school. How do people coming out of school, going to college, getting into their first job, how do they afford a car with the
don't right
prices? Even
Five
one
in
car,
credit debt.
they want, $30K for something 8 years old, pushing 100,000 miles. That thing's got to be, 16, 17 years old, survive 200,000 miles for you to pay your auto loan off.
Yeah. And that
Like,
market
that's
is
just
drying
crazy.
up too now because of the snapback from COVID. And it's going to get worse. Yeah, it's not good. I think all of the stuff from the guy who's currently in charge, who says he does not want the job to be CEO. He's just acting as it right now. If they keep down that kind of path, I think he's got the right idea, right? Like, return to your roots, go back to the auto shows, go back to doing the Jeep commercials, go back to reinforcing your brand, and then go back to making a vehicle that people can afford. At least to get into Jeeps, right? Like, there's no entry level model Jeep that you can do anything with except commute.
The beauty of a Jeep was the fact that any guy with some mechanical knowledge could go and work on it with his son. And that's how you built the brand. Was you had a dad that had a Jeep, worked on his Jeep with his son. The son wants a Jeep because then he can go teach his son or daughter. But you see where I'm going with, then you got Porsche, JD, I'm teeing you up for the next one. Porsche used to do this. They didn't have they had a factory, but you had one guy that from the start of the project, the start of the build of that one Porsche, he went all the way through until that Porsche hit a train or a boat to be shipped where it was being shipped. There was no other person that ever did anything that was in charge of that Porsche.
Right.
And that's where Jeep has lost the focus and going to computers and saying that, well, I can have this guy pushing a button. I could have this guy just pushing a button, where we've trained a person that back in the 40s and 50s, they were called retreaders. They would just sit there and push a button and retread tires.
Yeah. They're charging handmade prices for assembly line quality.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's gotten them in trouble. And again, I read this story with the knowledge that they are trying to turn out of this skid and this problem. Like we've talked about it a lot here because we all like Jeep, except Alyssa, who hates Jeep.
I don't hate them.
And if
I
you'd
just
like
can't
to
afford
tell
a
Alyssa-
Tacoma and a Jeep.
Okay, to be fair, I can't afford either one of them either, and either one of them, not either or, just either of them. We love the brand. It's just, I think for a lot of us who have, I've owned a Jeep for 20 plus years, and it was really disheartening to watch the brand kind of falter there for a while. So hopefully we can come back, and hopefully, somebody else doesn't kind of come into that space. And that was a great tee up. Good job, buddy. I like that. I like how you did that. And because we'll do the political one last before we get into the fail videos then too. Cool. So Ford wants to own off-road with a Raptor supercar. Ford isn't just dipping its toes into off-road dominance, it's looking to take over. I don't have any video or pictures of this, by the way, guys. This is all the only videos and pictures I could find were all AI, and I'm not doing that to we used to do enough AI in the show. So Ford isn't just dipping its toes in off-road dominance, it's looking to take over. Reports say that the automaker is cooking up an off-road Raptor supercar, aiming to blend day car level toughness with supercar performance. CEO Jim Farley is all in, saying, I would love to make a Raptor branded high performance off-road car that could take on the world. That's a big claim, and if Ford follows through, this could be an ultimate off-road machine, one that leaves all the other ones in the dust. While the details are scarce, this wouldn't be just another souped-up Bronco or F-150. Ford wants something purpose-built, pushing the Raptor brand beyond trucks and SUVs and into a whole new performance subcategory. It's a bold move considering that most off-road rigs focus on capability over raw speed, but Ford seems to think there is room for both. So the big question is, will this be a true off-road monster or just a marketing flex? With no timeline or concrete specs, it's all just hype for now. But if Ford delivers, it could set a whole new benchmark for high-performance off-road machines and give the rest of the industry a serious wake-up call. What about Jeep? Is Ford really looking to dominate off-road? Could this eventually lead to a Raptor-badged competitor to the Wrangler and Gladiator? If so, off-road wars might be getting a whole lot more interesting in terms of speed. I don't know, what do you guys
It'll
think?
make the Jeep brand better and
You
the
think?
Toyota brand better. Yeah.
I mean, this is because this is a rally car, like essentially, right? Like we're not talking.
I was gonna ask that, like a Baja.
Yeah. And here, I'll
It sounds
look
like
up
something
a
rally or
video.
Baja.
Yeah.
I'm always interested every time, you're doing something beyond the boring street car, let's call it, something different. Since most vehicles are all designed in a wind tunnel anymore to be as fuel efficient, they all look the same.
Ew.
So anything.
I saw that thing on GTA GTA.
Huh. It's just,
Put it on
I
the
think this
Fisher
is
Price
just
aisle. That looks
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, it does look like the Mach-E kind of turned into a Dakar
Well,
prototype.
and that's what makes me think this is just
It
an
looks like
AI.
weird Porsche.
Yeah, this might just be an AI that Motor Trend used because they didn't put a caption on it. So I have no idea if it's a fake image or not, or if it's an actual piece of concept art from somebody. But I don't think so. I don't think
that's
it's an
true.
actual piece of concept art. I think this is just what people have kind of pumped into it. But I mean, I couldn't imagine they wouldn't go with that similar Ford grille, although it looks ridiculous. So we'll see. I don't know.
I mean, if it's Raptor, it's going to have the wide fenders and the big blocky letter grill. That's guaranteed.
I mean, theoretically, it has to. Yeah, I don't know.
Ford has been crushing the Dakar Rally. They've been crushing Baja. It's that right there. Your soccer mom is not going to be able to drive that to soccer, which is completely fine. I'm not saying that the Wrangler or the anything is. It's just
you probably shouldn't be taking your kids to soccer practice in the Jeep either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to trip over the side steps that you probably bought somewhere that you probably shouldn't have.
If they build it, they'll have the scaled down model. So the Raptor will be the Halo model that brings everybody to the dealership. You can't afford the $80,000-$90,000 Raptor version. You buy the more economical model, and then you take the kids and get in the bus lane with that.
Yeah.
But they did it with Ford already did that, and they know how to utilize that. They marketed the Bronco as the Sasquatch and whatever the other one was that are the big ones. The actual Ford Bronco that you're like, man, I had one of those when I was in high school. This thing is cool. And then you go to look at, and then you go down to the dealership and they're like, oh, you're going to have to specially order that one.
And
here's the Sport. Here's the Sport, which is basically a Ford Escape with a different body.
Yep, the good old Mazda Tribute.
The Mazda Tribute.
Good
stuff.
It's like anything though.
Trimmer.
You figure they bring out the Challenger, Hellcat, and the Demon. For every one of those they sold, how many thousands of V6 Challengers did they turn out?
Yeah. I mean, Alyssa's going to be able to go faster on like going out to White Pockets, driving out to White Pockets, and the road going out there. You're definitely going to be able to drive faster than I am on a solid axle versus an independent suspension, because you're not going to feel the bumps as much as I am. But when they're talking about off-roading, are they talking about, is this what they're classifying off-roading as? Or are we utilizing it as where I go off-roading and I'm getting sideways going up a rock face?
I think they're classifying this as, that's crawling, and then there's racing. And I think they both fall under the off-road umbrella. Mm-hmm. I just think that, it's different crowds to a certain degree, right? Like it's the same. Yeah. And like King of Hammers is where it's that Venn diagram where those two groups meet, of racing and off-road crawling, right? I think that's where, I don't know. My question for somebody who's got a little bit more technical knowledge: how often do you think all of the technology that they use for these rally cars translates into the shit that we do, and into those? I mean, I feel like it's going to translate into the stuff that I do, and kind of, as Randy and Pope would say, the dirt roads that Alyssa and I like so much. But how much
utilizing in a rally situation, JD, and a rally, or a King of Hammers type of situation, to automatically bump up your vehicle from a 4500 class to a 4400 class, which are the actual race vehicles that are basically a frame built around suspension, and then that are all four independent, and then you just build a fiberglass looking Bronco around it, because Ford is paying your tab for the year.
Yeah, it's like that International Scout we saw at Barrett Jackson's last week. Yeah.
But not everybody can afford $300,000 worth of suspension underneath a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I mean, I've been out at Johnson Valley and watched a Ford Bronco on coilovers and watched the whole coilover come apart, because the travel was that great that the whole coilover came apart this way and not this way. Like, didn't blow, it just went zoop, and it fell apart. And it was on a Ford Bronco, because his front had the independent suspension, which automatically has a coilover in it. And that's where you're running into the issue when, they're running, 4400 class, they're running huge coilovers. you're not going to be able to. You can't put $12,000 worth of on what you can't put $12,000 on one corner and say, "Hey, I'm going to go down to the street corner and pick up my kids."
Well, you can.
Yeah, you've got
You
that kind
can.
of disposable income.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I mean,
There are people.
there are.
I guess the question is, that article, does it say, it said Ford wants to own off-road. Does it specify the consumer market or like the professional off-road racing market? Because those are two very different things too. Because you kind of touch base on, I think they called it what, the Bronco R or whatever. Ford made those. Those things were like 300K and they only made like 20 of them or whatever. And most people don't even know they exist.
Yeah.
So if that's what Ford's doing again, because they're tackling that professional segment, the consumer market, 99.9% of people won't even know that vehicle exists. Or are they trying to build a consumer, off-road vehicle?
So it doesn't, he didn't say that. And that's I feel like that's a typical CEO kind of a thing. You're not going to exactly say what your plans are in that arena. My guess is that it's really more of a marketing thing than anything else. Like they just want to have the ability to say Ford wins this race and then did it with this technology or whatever else.
As a Jeep guy, I feel attacked.
You should. I feel
attacked.
Why do you feel attacked?
If Ford wants to own that segment, build a solid axle, front and rear Bronco for production, and you're gonna get, I would say, 10% of the Jeep crowd going that way.
Okay.
Because you have a lot of Jeep people that are on the fence because of the poor production of Jeep right now, and and Ford could pounce on that by building a solid axle front on a Ford Bronco Sasquatch, or the big one, and you now physically have a better capable vehicle than a Jeep right now.
I'm with you. I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't think
they would have if they were going to, I feel.
Yeah.
His statement is they want to be the undisputed champion of off-road.
Yeah, again though, we're at CEOs talking bullshit about bullshit. So look, I work for one of them, and I know when the guy who I work for, when he talks, it's all bullshit. So it's marketing. And I get what they're trying to do here. Like they're just trying to talk to the widest audience that they can. And, hopefully some of the stuff kind of translates to, the consumer market, but this very much felt like a professional level kind of a statement. And I think it's just more of a marketing. Now, I have a question out of this whole thing is, where the hell is Jeep's rally car?
We don't need one.
We have to build it.
Like I said, two different segments. Jeep's never really gone for the high speed rally vehicle. It's, you can go low and slow, but you'll climb everything.
Yeah, but I mean, they came out with some of the more the speedy SRT versions. Well, that's really more Dodge, I guess.
No, I mean you have the Jeep Cherokee Trackhawk.
Well,
okay, I'm serious. I mean, if you want, they came out with the 392, but when you're looking at it from a 392 standpoint, can you go fast? Yes. But you're still running into gearing issues you're still running into those gearing issues.
Right.
There's a lot of variations here that, and anybody that's in this off-roading world, we're not going to go out, buy a vehicle straight off the lot and go out and expect to go do what we want to do. They used to do it before Carlos came in. Before Carlos, you had,
I'm so glad Pope's
in order to get the Rubicon tag on the Jeep, to get a Jeep Rubicon, not saying your Jeep Rubicon went through it, but the prototype, it had to have done the Rubicon Trail from start to finish. Right. And that was the production model.
Right.
Now they just slap on some leather, put a couple USB ports in there, and let's do some electric steering so that maybe that'll cure the death wobble. No, it doesn't.
Well, and I think they try to say that those features are going to overcome, physical limitations of a Jeep on the Rubicon. So we'll give you some assisted steering so that you don't have to work so hard with your 37-inch tires or whatever else. Now you can do the Rubicon. When the Rubicon's gotten harder in a lot of places, and maybe your 35s can't do it anymore.
Well, and
they took away during COVID, they stopped doing it. They completely stopped.
So to go back to JD's question, if Jeep even built a rally car, are you even interested in a Jeep made rally car? Because you're not taking that through the Rubicon. It's a whole different off-road world if you're building a rally car.
I mean, I'm not but I don't have $300,000 laying around for a Jeep rally car to begin with. So I'm not really their core audience.
Why do that when I could go out and buy a JK Sport and spend $100,000 in parts and make it a rally car myself. Legit. And it has everything I want in it.
If you would like to see us do that as a podcast, please reach out to me at jd@thetrailheadnetwork.com.
Sponsorships are.
I mean, it's true. You look at all the Jeeps that run. You look at all the Jeeps that run King of Hammers. You look at all the Jeeps that run. There are Jeeps that run Dakar. There are Jeeps that run Baja. Does the computer system works better on a Hemi because it's a Stellantis product. It doesn't work as well on an LS platform, but you're looking at you have to up the engine. You have to remove that stupid button that says the quiet mode on the 392. And then you have to do a bunch of other things to it. The problem that people aren't understanding is you could run Baja, you could run Dakar, you could run all those world events that are just as big as F1 on a Wrangler platform. You just have to spend the money on the suspension. And like I was saying, Alyssa could run the trail heading out to White Pockets faster than I can because her front end suspension, she's not going to feel every little bounce.
Right.
I am. We could be aired down at the same level. We could have the same tires, same everything. I am. She's not. Because Toyota automatically comes with that independent suspension in the front end that allows for those going over washboards that a Jeep doesn't have. Yeah. That's my opinion.
No, I'm with you. I like it. Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Nathan?
I mean, my question really was just, is anybody interested? Because they keep saying off-road. I think it's more of a blanket statement where, we're talking apples and oranges. We're not comparing two things that are the same. I don't think the vehicle that Ford's talking about building is anything that's going to be competing in the realm of what we would consider doing with our Jeeps.
I think the question will be is if they turn hard into that, and more so than they have to date, will that translate into different technology for the Bronco that can then make it even more competitive with the Jeep than it already is, just because it's not a Jeep right now?
Yeah, I mean, Jeep used to be able to crush the market just on name alone, just solely on the name alone.
They burned that. They burned all of that capital they had.
The Rhine River is forgotten.
Yeah, it cost them 5 years, $106 million in salary and their brand. So we'll see if they can turn out of it. All right, we're back on fucking Jeep again. All right, let's do one that's a little more universal. And I hesitate to talk about these stories because I hate talking about politics, but this is kind of, again, it's the Venn diagram where politics and what we do on a day-to-day basis for off-roading kind of hits at the same place. Forest Service and national parks, layoff whiplash continues. The back and forth on staffing of America's national parks and forests has been a roller coaster for the last month. and not the fun kind. Earlier this year, the federal government cut 1,000 National Park Service jobs and 3,400 U.S. Forest Service positions in a move aimed at slashing spending. That meant fewer rangers, slower park services, and a whole lot of uncertainty. The fallout hit hard. National parks like Everglades and Buffalo National River saw visitor centers shuttered, maintenance stalled, and fewer staff available to help with everything from rescues to guided tours. Local communities that rely on tourism also felt the sting. The backlash was swift, with protests, outcry, and frustrated visitors wondering why their tax dollars weren't keeping the parks running smoothly. Facing the heat, the government reversed the course, sort of. They reinstated around 5,000 seasonal jobs, but for many of the permanent employees, the damage has been done. The slow rehiring process, asking them to leave and then come back, has left parks and forests struggling to operate at full capacity just as the busy season ramps up. So what does this mean if you're heading into a national park or the forest this year? Expect hiccups, longer lines, fewer services, and the dedicated staff that are still on the job there to be stretched thin. So be nice. For off-roaders and outdoor lovers, that means staying extra prepared because the folks that usually help keep things running might not be there when you need them. That's my biggest takeaway for people is in the immediate short term, be more prepared than you have been to date. There's a good chance you're going to run into more trail damage. You're going to run into more stuff out there. They here in Colorado, I believe the number was 90 Forest Service jobs, and that might be too low. That might be a lower number than I think it should be. They were considered probationary workers, people who had been hired within the last year or so. Not necessarily because they were new hires, but people leave and new people come on, so they're newer people. And this kind of whiplash, it hurts. There's a lot of things I kind of like going on in the recreation space and within. See what the Blue Ribbon Coalition is able to get done right now with the current administration. This one was a punch to the gut, though. Like I felt like you are clearly not. You're cutting agencies that are already beyond bare bones. So I don't know. I put this to the group because I don't want to be the only jackass with an opinion on it.
So with Colorado, Rocky Mountain National Park, 3 months out of the year, you can't even get into it because it's so much snow.
Yep.
The biggest gem of the United States in the Black Canyon of Gunnison, which is by far the gem of the National Park Service. Mm-hmm. I believe a lot of it's run by volunteers that get to camp there, park their RVs, and so your gate people are volunteers.
Some of it is, but
for the free space
organize those people, right? But without the problem is they're cutting those. All of those programs exist because there are people in those organizations to organize that volunteer work.
Yeah, no, I haven't looked at Utah yet. Utah has the largest quantity of national parks, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I haven't looked at that. And it's Utah really. I mean, a lot will probably come out of the Salt Lake City Off-Road Expo.
Right.
Yeah, whatever the acronym is. But who knows how many people have lost positions at Zion, which is run year round. Coral Reef, which doesn't have a whole lot of people. You're looking at you got your rangers, your law enforcement people there that are permanent officials. It's those gate people that are letting people in and out. Pink Coral Reef doesn't have those to begin with. It's a state highway to drive through it. And then you have Bryce Canyon. That one might have got hit. Just because there's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah.
And then you look at, I don't even know I don't even think Nevada has anything because oh no, we got that nuclear
do.
test site.
You do. You have some. You have enough.
But that's where they went to an automated system a couple years ago that you had to have appointments to go in and out. And so you have a barcode that you scan for your appointment time. And, is it going to save? I know that in the political stuff that was happening 6 years ago, I know that salaries were given up to the National Park Service that entire time. So that $250,000 a year that somebody gets paid, they were giving it up to the National Park Service. I believe that's what it was. The news had stated. So if they're probationary, they're seasonal workers.
No, that's not entirely true. That's kind of that's part of the problem, right? So in this, when the company that I work for now, when I first started as an employee, I was a probationary employee, just because I'm a
Your first 90 days.
Correct. Every day in the federal government, when you have, the Forest Service employs roughly 27,000 people. So out of those 27,000 people every year, you're going to have a certain number of those folks that are going to just retire or quit because they find another job or something else that goes on there, right? So those folks, when those folks quit and those jobs are backfilled, those aren't new jobs. Those aren't, in fact, and if anything, those folks are getting paid less because they're new people. But they are now probationary people. So in that moment where anybody and I don't think this is a good idea for anybody to do, regardless of what political party you're in, but to just come in whole hog and just kill off all of these people, regardless of like evaluating what it is that they're doing. They came through and they just killed off all those probationary employees, regardless of whether or not they were backfilling positions or not. So, for me, my thing is the Forest Service itself has 27,000 employees and 193 million acres of public land to manage. That's a lot. And
most of it's on the West Coast.
And most of it's on the West Coast. And when you decide to just arbitrarily cut 90 people from the people that manage my backyard, like this is literally my backyard, guys. Like there's a mountain back here and the Forest Service maintains it and the Forest Service does logging. They're actively doing logging on it to try to keep it from burning the city of Colorado Springs and Monument down. When you come through and just kind of indiscriminately do this and then come back and be like, yeah, we'll just hire them all back. It'll be all good. Like it doesn't work that way. Like not everybody who just got fired from their job for no reason is going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll come back. Like,
yeah, no, JD, I'm with you 100% on that aspect, but you have to make, when it's the federal government, you have to make a broad spectrum. You can't just look at, okay, employee Joe who works for the Forest Service is more valuable than employee Jane. Sorry for using Joe and Jim. You got employee Joe that works for the Forest Service and employee Jim that works for the Social Security Department. When we've all known that you have an entire population of Washington, D.C., that as a whole, 85% of the entire population of Washington, D.C. works for the federal government.
I understand what you're saying. I do. But again, it's that
does it suck? Yes.
The idea of taking chainsaws to anything personally, I think is a terrible idea. But in the situation of you're taking a chainsaw to agencies that are actively managing our safety, I think is a terrible idea. I think it's a terrible idea. And again, there are lots of things that the current administration is doing that I believe will be good for us and good for public lands going forward. This is one of those things where I think this was fucking stupid. This was stupid from the beginning. It's stupid them trying to clean it up and fix it now. This is one of those things where you took a really, really small agency, and in order to try to make a political hay out of cutting stuff, because this isn't like, we're not talking big numbers here, guys. That's the other piece of this, right? Like all of these cuts that they've been making in terms of these labor pieces, even you start looking at some of the folks, their own official tallies keep dropping because they're not actually cutting the numbers that they're doing. And the numbers that they are cutting is 0.01% of the budget overall. And that's all across. That's not just the Forest Service stuff. That's all of the cuts that they've been announcing and doing lately. So I understand the need and the want to try to trim around the edges and find where you can find, the waste, the fraud, and the abuse, because it's government. It happens. I know people that work in the government. I know it exists. It really pisses me off in situations like this, where this was a forced error. Because here's the thing, right? Like, again, finding people that want to work in a federal job, especially like Forest Service, like and working for the BLM, like the BLM is a thankless job these days, especially when you're dealing with assholes like us. You don't want to. No, it. Would you want to deal with you?
No. I have a hard time looking in the mirror sometimes.
So, like, and that's just like, it's hard enough to hire people these days for the jobs that nobody wants to do. So to turn around and then fire them and then be like, yeah, I'm sorry, we made a mistake 2 weeks later, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm going to go find a job where I'm not, my job isn't at the whim of an individual. And I think that's kind of that's my fear for longer term damage to the
Isn't
agency.
all jobs at the whim of some individual if they get pissy that day? As a whole, any company. I mean, you look at
They are, but I have never been at a company where a CEO has been so irritated and pissed off that he laid off 10% of his workforce.
I know a company that did it right there in Colorado.
Which one?
Coors.
Okay.
The CEO of Molson Coors left, and the new guy came in who was South African. He liked the Midwest, and he shut down the headquarters. He shut down the worldwide headquarters right there in Colorado and moved it to Milwaukee. And since then, their profits have dropped well below, because they're no longer.
I don't think you're making a case for making wholesale changes. Yeah, I don't think you're making a case for making wholesale changes indiscriminately.
No, Kate lost her job because of it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah.
1,500 people at the worldwide headquarters in Denver, Colorado got laid off because a South African wanted to have ashtrays in his urinals in Milwaukee versus having Coors being brewed in the Rocky Mountains.
Right.
So that's where I'm saying, yes, CEOs do it. They do it all the time.
But and again, okay, and I'm still with you. And but would you want to do that for a federal government job where you're paid less?
When I think about it from a political standpoint, I look at it from the president is the CEO of the United States, and you have Congress as the board, and you have the Congress, the corporate,
right?
And sometimes you're not going to agree with I don't agree with what happened with the Forest Service. I'm not trying to stick up for the fact of the Forest Service. Yeah. What I'm saying is that CEOs do it all the time because a new CEO comes in and wants to make his mark.
Right. I get it. I get it.
It kind of goes to JD's point where, statistically on the federal level jobs, you're making less than you could in the private sector for something similar. And then if you want to do your comparison with the president being the CEO, most companies don't have, every 4 years where you could have a, wholesale regime change that just comes through and decides, hey, everything you've been doing and building, it's all done. I have different ideas. No, it can happen because you can get CEO changes, but most of the time that tenure is longer and you kind of have longer plans in the business realm.
And I get
the CEO job is like 5-6 years though.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, Brian. But even then, like the company that I've been with now for 12 years, like even though we've had some of those changes, we haven't seen wholesale changes in the way that we did our businesses, completely. And I get that is what this current president is trying to do. He's trying to make a wholesale change to the way we do business, so to speak. It's just this is one of those situations where this could have been done a lot better, and I'm really worried about what it does for us in the long run in terms of the Forest Service. I'm not talking about Social Security. I'm not talking about all the rest of it. That's not my concern in this conversation of this specific piece. My concern is you fired 3,400 Forest Service employees in an agency that has only got 27,000 that manages almost 200 million acres of land in this country. And they're not going to want to come back. They're just not going to want to come back. I wouldn't want to come back if I got treated like that. And that's the thing is, even if you're a company, right? Even if you're a company that goes through and does that, and you start laying off your employees because, every 3 or 4 years you go through a big, organizational change, eventually you stop attracting talent. And then eventually your company just goes out of business and you're no longer relevant anymore. And that's what I'm concerned is going to happen. I don't want to see the privatization of our forests either, because that's the concern. That's you keep cranking that down, and that's where we're headed. And that's the other end of the spectrum, right? We want somebody who's a little bit more open to recreation and understanding how our public lands are ours. But we also don't want them to turn it into the public lands by Costco. So anyway, all right, Alyssa, you've managed to stay out of this conversation. Congratulations.
I'm just listening.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about it. It's one of those things where I'm hopeful that they'll recover from this at some level, just from a management standpoint. It was really kind of disheartening to see the initial firing. It was better to see them, decide they were going to bring people back, but it was rough. All right, let's get out of this. Let's stuff. Do we, for our get out of here topics, do we want to talk about vehicles, or I will save that for next time? Let's do a couple of fail videos. Those are more fun. Let's see here. Do we have somebody in the chat? Who's in the chat?
Oh, it was me.
Was that you? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying any attention. I was too busy talking to Brian.
I was trying to come up with some sort of, because otherwise because I think we all agree on the same thing.
It's just a dumb move. I just wanted to talk about it because it's in the stuff that we should be talking about. So did the ones I guess the ones I uploaded today did not upload to the studio. So we'll go back to this one of the old ones. All right, let's do some fails here. Bless you, Alyssa. I saw that.
Oh, I was like, I didn't mute it. I did.
You did. No, I just saw it out of the corner of my eyes. I was scrolling through these. Let's see here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope this has video. This should have video. Yep. At least he has it though. Oh, did it stop?
That never showed up on mine.
Yeah,
that one's not too bad. He's basically a full tube cage at that point.
He did, and actually,
he's a chassis cage.
Yeah, I don't know why that shut off. He ended up flopping over on his side, so that was.
I don't know why it didn't show up on my screen.
And it only showed partially for me, so it must have just been a bad edit for me, which is totally possible. All right, here we go. All beans.
Of course, it was an XJ.
Yeah, I can't see it at all.
Really? It's probably because you just. It's because you're. Yeah. No, it's just you, buddy.
Yeah, at first I was like, "Oh, this looks like it's out my way." We don't usually get that much air, though.
That's the first. Like it's just a lot of air. You'll have to watch it on the Instagram feed.
I am. Yeah, I'm having to pay attention to other things here.
Oh yeah, get some porn going on over there.
No, I was looking up Trump's salary and how much he was donating.
Oh, no, yeah, because
Fact checking myself.
okay. Anyway,
Say that it handled that hit pretty well though.
did
He's
it?
got some damage, but
Saying his stinger bar really held up? Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah, everybody loves those stingers.
everybody, Nathan.
Not
they're-
everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. They might be in an area where it actually helps them. This definitely looks like a U.S. based fail, though. I don't know who was
And
doing
it does
it.
look East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathan,
Yeah.
anybody you know?
No, nobody I know particularly, but you can tell that he's once he clears that hill, he knows he done screwed up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Here's where you need them Duke boys better learn how to grow some wings. Oh,
Absolutely.
boy. All right. So Nathan, I liked your scale that you posted earlier. I should have pulled it up on here.
Yeah, my little casual shot at Toyota and Ford in there too.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll grab that for the next time. But essentially, it was either a win or a fail or a meh in the middle. So this is a fail. I'm gonna call this stupid people doing stupid shit in the forest. So, like, a little closer to the fail, but not a complete fail. Like they knew they were going to be doing something stupid.
It was definitely intentional, whether to the level they thought they were getting or not.
What do you think, Alyssa? Do you think that was an intentional level of jacked up my XJ?
hmm Yep.
Wow. Okay. You have a whole lot of faith in Jeep owners.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Brian?
Oh, it's a fail. It's just one, he failed from the very beginning. He's driving an XJ. And two,
we look forward to your calls and letters, 719-408-0132.
but two, thankfully he was driving an XJ.
I mean,
But I have him here, like, did his airbag pop?
oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah,
they-
it did.
That's what all that that's that powder
Yeah,
dust.
I didn't
both
see
of
that.
them pop. Good call. You can see
Yeah.
the passenger one goes off too.
Yeah, definitely a
They
major
both
fail.
go.
Because that XJ should have had its airbags at least removed.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
if you're jumping the thing, pull the fuse first.
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
behind him, I was just like, he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that speed.
Yeah. He caught a little bit there. And is that a Mitsubishi that comes up behind him? Is that
No,
Corrado?
Ford.
Ford.
Oh, that's another.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a
no.
Ford.
No,
You have to
goddamn,
pause
that
it.
might be. That might. I don't think it's a Ford.
It's hard
I
to
keep
tell. You
wanting
get
to
just
say,
a
I'm impressed
short
his
glimpse
friend
of
didn't
it.
hit him.
That's a Ford. That's a Ford Explorer.
It is a Ford. That's a Ford Explorer. Holy cow! Wow.
It
All
catches
right.
I'm
some
amazed
of
the
it.
brakes
You can tell he
actually
comes
stop.
bouncing down there.
Yeah, he does. He definitely caught a little bit of air, but I think he saw how much air the first guy caught, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look like a oval badge on the front of it, but it's hard to tell.
Oh no, I think he had a middle finger badge instead of.
Oh, is that a Mitsu? No, it might be a Mitsu.
That's why I thought it might have been like a Pajero. It kind of looked like the diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you guys, the eagle eyes. All right. Let's see here. Ooh, let's do the Toyota one.
Remember, everyone, I'm watching this 10 seconds later, so
Yeah, I know. That's all right. Oh, this is the wrong Toyota one. I don't want that one. That one's not as much fun. Because he doesn't really fail here either. But that is a whole lot of body space.
Say there's a lot of full-size trucks coming down that rock face.
100% intentional, Kate said. For the last video, that's awesome. I mean, these guys
Do you know
are.
what trail this is?
That is behind the rocks. That is an obstacle called high dive.
Oh, it's high dive. Okay.
And they are taking the completely wrong line. Like,
Why?
that is not the line you want to take.
We're
I
in the
mean,
right line because
we're
we're watching
seeing
and
them,
talking
but-
about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is it the right line for full
I
size?
haven't seen other cars do this.
Oof.
That guy's got a dovetail on that one.
That guy's not driving an actual Ram anymore. That's just a that's just a beefcake vehicle.
I mean, I love how they're using the rocks. Like, they're coming down that angle, and they're using the rocks to keep them from rolling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is not the line you want.
So I'm curious then, why would you be doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because
I mean, no one tipped or rolled, so it's not wrong. But
there's a lot of scraping.
it's
Not wrong.
First, second, third, or fourth line we would have done either.
I don't feel like this is the
Nice.
first.
I like how you
Cute that
too.
Sometimes it works. It's got to be a full size thing. I feel like I got this from the full size invasion page, but I can't remember right now because there was another one that I had about.
This isn't for full size invasion. I don't know what invasion it's from.
Okay, well, you're not helpful. Just so you know that.
Because
Here's another badass.
so
Toyota.
this happens a week before EJS. Full size
Oh,
invasion is always a week before EJS.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, they're all hooked up too.
Okay. Well, I'm just talking about full size invasion, the Instagram page.
Yeah.
Should be.
Notice that they're all hooked up. Well, on coming down high dive, they're all hooked up with a winch line behind them.
Well, I'm guessing that's why they went to the right.
Oh, they
'cause
were?
felt like they were
I
going
didn't
to
see
tip
that.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm guessing
behind the rocks.
Yeah, I knew this was still behind the rocks. This is
Yeah.
Alyssa, did you send this one through?
I think so.
Yeah, this Toyota was just getting it.
I
Like,
don't
it was just
remember.
impressive all the way through.
Actually, I feel like Pope sent this one. I sent the other one. I think
Is
Pope
that
sent
Dodge
it.
Power
I was
Wagon?
gonna say that looks like a Ram Charger or a Power.
Yeah. It's the
Oh,
Power
it's
Wagon
Dodge.
Bronco thingy.
Oh, damn it. Maybe I didn't get it for this week. I'll have to grab it next time, Alyssa. I'm sorry. Well, this wasn't
That was
badass.
not bad.
This is a badass Dodge. He'll get there. Or not.
Since you've been on this, I don't know if it's a dumb question. That spot that he was still like trying to work up, was that just a tough spot or was that a tire issue?
So
Oh,
that
Or
right
gear
there,
issue.
that's actually a really
Yeah.
super easy obstacle.
I know.
Okay.
So why is
So
it-
tires
Isn't
not
Jeeps
good
just walk
then?
up it?
So you don't know why he was still having a hard time with that?
So
Could have been his wheelbase.
okay,
His wheelbase looks a lot wider and longer than a Jeep.
Yeah,
why am I
sorry,
not
buddy.
getting this?
I don't know. It doesn't like you. It's okay. We're almost done. We're not going to do too many more.
That's the same video, just closer.
Yeah, it was one long video that I put a bunch of them together, and I feel like this is that same spot but from a different angle. Yeah,
So that's high dive. So for Jeeps, you want to come down. You want your passenger tire on that, not running right over your skid.
Put on a good show.
yeah. Oh boy. I mean, he got down it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give that one a win. That's just a straight win. That's just a badass truck. That's just awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty successful on that one.
Like for real though.
Yeah. I
Alyssa,
want
you
to
wanna buy a
those
Dodge now?
guys.
I always liked the Ram Chargers.
I mean,
Yeah.
they sold them forever.
I mean, that's up,
let's-
Chuck.
Let's see here. I'm looking here at. Nope, I don't want to do that one. I don't want to do. Ooh, I got one last one from King of Hammers I never did. This is a lesson in recovery points.
Oh, I know which one you're. Oh, that's not the one I thought. Good.
I think we did that one also.
There he goes.
Oh no.
Just keep dragging them and dragging.
Never mind. My friend is getting me out. Friend.
Like they just
Okay.
like Yeah,
There was just like 3 times they could have stopped. Like, where was the spotter like waving to be like, "Okay, you're good."
like
Water almost got
stop pulling.
crushed.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
almost got what he deserved. Yeah, good lord.
That
There's nothing.
that's
Do you
what
think any of them were sober
that's
though?
what Bush Light.
Yeah. Well, I
was
mean, and
happening
look at the look at the vehicle doing the pull out though too. It looks like that vehicle's rolled or bounced down a rock face once or twice too.
Yeah.
He's probably not too worried about it.
What'd you say, Alyssa?
Do we think any of them were sober though?
Absolutely not. No,
Oh, not at that time of night.
no. This is
BLM guys aren't even sober at that point.
Nope. No. In fact, I'm guessing this guy over here in the top right corner is a BLM guy with the Coors Light. Yeah. Oh. Sparks.
Sam, those take a
right.
licking and keep on ticking.
They do.
Yeah.
They're badass little vehicles. I'll give that to you. They're badass vehicles. All right.
Yeah, that guy on the right was the smartest one though. He backed up like 5 feet before they started pulling him.
Yep. Oh, he knew it was up. Like that's what I would have done. Yeah, good lord. All right. I'm glad nobody. That's a fail. That's a 100% fail. Everybody involved. I don't
The
think.
fact that he got on that one rock, that's like the only rock he could have turtled on there, it looks like too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like any.
Of course, officials had to go back the next day and move that rock back to where it was at.
Is that what they do?
That's
Bring people
important.
and moving that stuff
Oh,
around?
I'm joking. I don't.
I
I never went out to Chocolate Thunder. There's just way too much drinking out there. It's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Having all my digits.
yeah, you get drunk just thinking about going out there.
That's yeah. I feel like King Hammers is that kind of a bad idea. All right, one last one. Let's do one more and then let's get the hell out of here. We've been at this long enough, and I'm sure Kate is done watching us as our one Instagram watcher. Thank you, Kate. We love you. Let's see here. Ooh. This is. I don't think this is the U.S. But he
sent it all right.
Sent it. Oh.
Ew.
The rain of mud makes it as everybody scatters to avoid the rain of mud.
It's like you can hear it. Like, let me turn it up a little bit for you guys in the back. It's heavy then. Like there was like a significant amount of mud. And yeah.
Well, that's a fail.
That's
like...
a fail.
You said he's gonna go off.
Yeah. You can hear that
That's what
thing.
I was
He's
looking
winding
for.
it up too. Like that motor's screaming as he's coming through there.
Yeah.
Do you expect that bump at the start? Do you
I think he did. I think he thought it was going to be more of a bump. I think
That's one way to get rid of angry girls.
I mean, if he didn't bump that first bump, that second one that he nosed into, he would have jumped over the cameraman.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I feel like
That's what I thought he was going for.
I think he thought he was going to skip the first puddle, and that was never happening whatsoever.
Mhm.
Oh wow, that's good stuff. That's
And
really good
he upgraded his lights. And they're
He did.
gone.
Yeah, he did now.
At least that angry girl's gone.
Anybody consider that a win? And I'm just checking. I just want to check.
I do, because he killed his angry grill. And he had to go back to his stock. That's a win in my book.
All right. I will give that one to you.
Alyssa, do they have angry grills for Toyotas?
Oh, do they?
It's a valid
don't think so.
You
I
know,
don't think
JD's got some
so.
homework for next week to find.
The grill doesn't make sense, I don't think, for Tacomas, but the headlights do. So my old headlights, no one's gonna agree with me, but my old headlights I thought looked like angry eyes, not like the Jeep, but just like more angrier. And then the headlights I have now just look like standard Pro headlights. But I think that's the only way you can get like an angry Tacoma look is by messing with the headlights, not the grill.
Yeah.
I've never actually looked it up.
I don't see anything here offhand real fast. I see some for
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably not because most vehicles the grill isn't as easily replaceable as on like a Wrangler either. Like
Yeah.
a couple,
Well,
you know,
and the
most
grill
time they just
doesn't
pop right off.
include. Sorry.
Oh, they have
Um,
eyelashes.
no,
I
they
was gonna say you
what?
could do eyelashes.
Yeah,
but-
see?
Don't
Yeah,
do it.
fancy eyes, not angry ones.
Oh,
I think Alyssa would tell you that it's a pain in the ass to take her grill off and put it back on.
yeah.
No, but
change the
I'll say,
headlights 3
like-
times.
Alyssa's right. The lights actually look more aggressive
Mhm.
than, you know.
I'll have to send you
Oh.
pictures of my old lights versus my new ones. Because I did like it's the same brand, but I still like the look of my other ones. So it looks angrier.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Toyota's had the opportunity to change them here and there. Like I think Jeep's been kind of stuck, you know, with
Yeah.
the lane that they've
Well,
been
because
stuck.
your grill includes the headlights.
Yes.
My grill's just a nose. So
Yeah, it's a valid point too. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
all
you
one.
get into like the bumper shroud kind of
Mhm,
at that point.
exactly. All right. Oh, you know what? I got one
Yeah.
more that I want to do. What?
Oh
What's
no,
this one? You said
I'm
the
looking at
recovery one.
mods for to go to Tacomas, and you can actually they actually do sell that makes it look like you got a big old schnoz.
That's amazing. All right, well,
It's a
send that to me.
grumper. It's a grumper grill.
Send that to me. We'll put it. Well, we'll have that for next week. It's amazing. Okay. All right. I just want to do this one right now because I want to pick on ATVs, and I saw this video this week, and it made me giggle. So let's do this real fast here. Just coming in hot and stupid.
It's sent to you,
Yeah, I
JD.
saw this one.
I hope it was worth your what? That's probably at least $5,000 worth of damage.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, whole front suspension needs replaced on your $40,000 side by side.
Yeah.
Is it wild?
Apparently,
A little bit.
according to the kid recording, it was wild. I don't think the guy driving it thinks it was so wild now.
He's lucky
Well,
he hit
He was still waving. He's
and
happy.
slid.
When he gets out and sees it, he might not think it's wild.
That's the thing, is in the moment you're like, yeah, that video was awesome, and then you get out and you're like, oh, that really screwed me up.
Yeah, the one day we were out, we watched two guys in side by sides try to climb like a rock face out of the creek at the off road park, and you know there's definitely some liquid courage going on, I think, down there, and all the buddies were cheering him on as the one guy basically twisted up his axle and they had to drag him back out, and then his other buddy's like, oh, I could do it, and he did the same thing and got his so twisted up they couldn't even roll him back out of the water.
Sounds about
So we were going up the other way. I'm not sure how they got out of there, but there was like 12 of them. I figured they had it under control.
well, this is Bethel, New York, so
Mm.
you'll have to. This is your neighborhood, buddy. You have to explain your people, Nathan.
Hey, my people.
They had a little too much apple cider.
That's a little too much apple cider. Yeah. Jesus
Yep.
Christ. Good Lord. All right. That's definitely a fail. I don't even think we have to play into that one. So, all right. All right, cool. Well, that's good. We got off of the shitty politics news and onto something decent. Good. I like how this worked out. All right.
Get CK or
we didn't get CK or Dom. We can give them shit in the chat later. I will give you guys shit right
I've been
now.
looking to see if I've been coming in and out of that to see if they messaged.
It's in the chat.
They did not.
Alyssa, I'm gonna rely on you to do the first wave of guilt and just be like, I was so expecting you guys to be there today, and then you didn't show up. Oh my god! Just throw that first one
Yep.
out there. Thank you very
I
much.
will. I'll throw one out because when I was having my computer problems and I was trying to catch up to you guys, Cord sent me a message on Instagram and I was like, oh, he's like already on. He's just like waiting for me. And then I got here and he wasn't here. So yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. There we go. All right, shit to be given. All right, I'm sure I'm the only one drinking again this week, right?
I ran out.
That's all right. You ran out. That's okay.
I got a fresh
And
meal.
out.
Okay. So this week I actually was doing the mojitos, which don't have as much liquor in them as the White Russians. So I'm not as schnookered
Nice.
as I usually am at this point in the show. But I'm going back to the caramel vodka because it was really good. So yeah, next week, I'm not sure if we're going to be live next week. We have to talk internally and figure out our new schedule for all of these, and how we're going to do live shows going forward along with our interview shows. And we'll get there.
Do I get to join?
Hey,
You
she's
can
here for the
cheer us.
booze.
I'm here.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. So yeah, we'll figure that shit out all in the coming week or so. In the meantime, cool. Let's run around the table. Anybody got anything before we get the hell out of here? Alyssa, we'll start with you today.
Nope, I can't think of anything.
Angry girls for everybody with Toyotas. Get on
Yeah.
it so Alyssa can buy.
They
Big
want-
schnozzes.
My
No,
time
Big
is off.
schnozzes.
I'm very
Schnozzes.
excited about that one. I'm very excited to look at that when I see it. Nathan, how about you, man?
No, not much. Hopefully, I'll get out here this weekend, and then Bantam's the next big thing I got coming up. So I'm looking forward to that.
Seriously, can you get out and do some trails? Because I feel like none of the rest of us are. So one of us needs to get out there and do something.
I'm planning
All right.
on it.
Good deal. All right. Before we get to your better
Be
half,
part of Nathan. Do not be part of the list for epic fails.
don't.
No, I don't plan on it.
Yeah,
I told
right.
JD about the one I had a couple of times ago where I had to throw a strap on the back because I thought I could have rolled it in a slick situation, but I told him I pulled a JD and got it sideways on the trail. He likes that phrase.
You gotta stop saying that. I don't like
I was
it.
nice to JD tonight.
You were. I appreciate you not bringing up the Voldemort of my vehicle. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. So do you have anything that is not the Voldemort that you would like to bring up at the end of the show here, Brian?
So I have been putting together a trail for EJS, a remembrance trail of our good friends Josh and Christina. Every Saturday at the start of EJS, Josh and I would run a trail together, and it was a fun run. Just 6-7 Jeeps would run behind the rocks. And so I've been working with a couple companies to put together a run for them. And so you hear it here first. I will be announcing it next week. It's a limited of 25 vehicles. But we're going to do a Saturday, the start of EJS, behind the rocks, 10 a.m. because Josh ain't getting up early. I know it's my favorite trail out in EJS or out in Moab. And it's not because it's hard. It's not because it's easy. It's because it's a trail that everyone can do. No matter what vehicle you're running, no matter what you are doing, it's to come out, have some fun, enjoy the 4 or 5 hours that you get to just put in 4 low and remember our friends.
That's awesome. All right, man. Well, when you get ready, let me know and we'll share the link out, and I'm sure that's going to fill up pretty fast. Good deal. All right, man.
So there.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. Kate, do you have anything that you would like to share?
Not
Tell us to
really.
all piss
Hopefully,
off.
I'm
You're
here
like-
on Monday after burning everything I have planned to burn.
It's all right. Just bring the first aid kit
With
right? Just
eyebrows.
Yes.
We care about eyebrows.
well, she's a lady. She can draw them in. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
it's-
lots
it's
of
not- yeah, she's got lots of options. Although, yeah, I don't want to get into that. All right.
And we are wheeling on Sunday, right?
Yes. And we are wheeling Sunday, so
But Sand Hall.
Excellent.
Fun.
Nice. Well, if I ever get my Jeep back, I'll wheel. I'm not bitter. I swear.
a seal takes a long time. You got to drop the transmission.
I'm not upset about the fact that that's what they've got to fix. I'm upset about the fact that it took them 4 days to get to the place where they're just now saying that's the rear main seal and that they didn't tell me and I had to bug them about it. Like, it's just, that's my issue with it. And they could have found that the first time if they'd just done a little bit more investigation, maybe taking a camera up there. Like, it's all tools they have. It's just they didn't want to do it because it's a dealership. And I get it. All right, we're done. I
Why
want to
did you
talk
just describe a colonoscopy?
because that's what they should have done to my goddamn Jeep. At 150,000 miles, when I bring you an oil leak, it's a colonoscopy. You need to figure out what's going on with it. All right. And on that note, thank you guys very much for riding along with this week, and thank you for letting us be a part of your off-road adventures. Stay safe travels on and off-road. Always stay the trail, and we'll see you next time at the Trailhead. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Happy weekend, everyone.
Oh, that kind of tastes like waffles.
Again, happy anniversary.
Happy
Thank
anniversary.
you.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do.
Gonna burn this place down.
Don't get arrested.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Recorded.
Wait, well, no, you're good. That's it. Yeah, you're fine. I'm not recorded.
We're not nope, recording's over.
And the
That's usually a
Instagram live is
blooper.
offline too. Yeah, no, that's good. You didn't say anything too inappropriate. You're fine. Cool. Awesome, guys.
cute.
Hey, that was a good deal. Happy anniversary, though. Seriously.
Switching the head, I'm switching off headphones.
Okay. How many years?
Sorry, I was switching.
Hello, Trailheads, and welcome to the Trailhead. Before the trails start today, we need to have a short safety meeting. Off-roading is an exhilarating but inherently risky sport. The insights and opinions that are shared by our hosts and any experts or guests on the podcast are intended to inform and inspire, not replace professional guidance. The Trailhead guests, partners, and any sponsors are not liable for any actions that you take based on what you hear. It is your responsibility to seek professional advice and make informed decisions, especially when attempting potentially dangerous activities. Always check current trail conditions and comply with local laws and regulations. Off-roading requires careful preparation and respect for safety, so ensure that you're well prepared before hitting the trails. And now that that's out of the way, buckle up and let the stories begin.
That can't tow your buggy to go rock crawl like I go and do.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the truck for you. That's the truck if you want to go hammer on the dunes.
Yeah,
It's not a truck.
It's-
Like,
And
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know if you guys have seen the. Did you see the Factory 5 truck kit they came out with for the F-150 earlier? I guess
No.
mid to end of last year. That's what, if I ever had the money and I was going down that route, I would take that over a Raptor. Basically, they make a full box frame replacement for your F-150. You take the body, drivetrain, everything out of your truck, put it on their truck, and they say hands down it'll outperform the Raptor in every category. Basically, it basically turns it into what they call it, a luxury pre-runner. You have like a full custom built race chassis frame underneath. You could have heated leather seats with air conditioning inside your truck and out in dunes.
I got heated leather seats in my Wrangler.
I had heated leather seats in my.
You know,
I got dirty cloth seats in my.
it's just I don't. For where on the West Coast wheeling is a lot different than East Coast wheeling, a lot, and it's hard to sit here and imagine. Unless you're doing Baja style race, I don't see it. That's why Wrangler's king out west, because you need a solid state axle. You can't do it on independent unless you're going to go out like my buddy Limitless, Marky Mark, and build out your Lexus like it's basically a Jeep on portals. And then every 20,000 miles, he's taking them apart.
Yeah.
Or every 5 trails. Because he
That's
beats
my
the
only-
heck out of it.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like the portals interest me, but that's the maintenance piece is just that I'm literally not wanting to hear.
Yeah. I'm just.
Yeah, Good.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'd be interested to hear. Like, I hear about a lot of maintenance stuff with these, these newer portal companies that are coming out for the off-road space. But like, I had mentioned, I think one time in a comment before, like the Unimog and the Humvees have been using portals forever, and like, you don't really hear about much maintenance happening on those. And I know it's a little bit different category, less of like hardcore climbing over rocks, but like some of those Unimogs you basically get used as workhorses, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's
fleet vehicles, so they get to be
Well,
used pretty.
I think
on a Humvee, it's completely different with the portals. I will say that on a Humvee, it's completely different with portals. They're a sealed unit, so you can't actually take them apart. If one goes bad, you take one out of a box and you slap it in and you slap the tire on and you go.
Right.
So whereas the portal boxes that I've seen, they fully come apart, and you're taking out gears, you're taking out everything out of it, and it just doesn't necessarily work like the Humvee or the Unimog. You know, coming from the Army and being a command, and what I did in the Army, I had to deal with Humvees all the time, and I never once had to take apart a portal. If I got a gear problem in my front end, I went in, ripped out the portal, put it in a box, put a new one on, and rock and roll. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, would you say you had like, what was the lifetime on a portal? Like, were they failing regularly on you?
I never had one fail, and I was doing 90 to 100 miles an hour down Iraqi 1 at one point. You know, swerving through lanes.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean. Because like you look at these companies now, and they make nice portals, like you said. Ripping it apart and servicing it is a great feature, but it seems like the lifespan isn't there. I hear from these people online that say they're using it and they're constantly rebuilding them or getting new sets. But those sets of portals they're running, for what they pay for one set of portals, you can get a decommissioned Humvee for like half the price at this point. So like, what's so great about those portals if they don't have the lifespan? That, like you said, those Humvees are getting.
Yeah, I mean, it was my work vehicle. But my Humvee always had to be the top of the line. Always was in the if I wasn't driving that day, it was in the shop being worked on and being redone because of who I drove, and because my vehicle could never shut down, ever. And you know, it only allowed so that I could have 37-inch BFG KO2s on it. That was it. Outside of that, a Humvee, you're maxed out at a 33 without portals. You know, I was looking online for a used Humvee just to see, you know, hey, why not look at this? But you're also looking at a 72-inch wide wheelbase.
Yeah, I could never fit these things in the trail here.
And then you go to Colorado with a Humvee and you're falling off of Red Cone, and that's one of the easier trails.
Not a dirt road though. It is not a
dirt road, but you know the points that I'm talking about, right, JD?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the other thing about a Humvee is it has upgraded brakes that nobody else has on vehicles. You know, it's actually a super light vehicle for the amount of stuff you have on it when you're running almost empty. When you're running full, yeah, it's heavy, but the suspension has to be able to handle that heavy. Because, you know, in certain situations, you're carrying 50,000 rounds of 50 cal. You're carrying another 50,000 rounds of M4. You're carrying 249 rounds. You're carrying rounds to the soldiers up front, bringing in, you know, and you have to, and that suspension has to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Not to mention four a-holes sitting in the seats going to the front line.
Rev it up, let it roll, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailheads calling, engines fire, we're on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. Under starlit skies where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every jeep a home. Meet me at the trailhead where the wild ones run, where the dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold. When the trail gets tough, we crank it up. Dig down deep, yeah, we never stay stuck. Jeeps on the ridge, friends by our side. Off-road family, it's one hell of a ride. Rates keep rolling, the days wearing thin. Gonna tell all our stories round the trailhead again. Meet me at the trailhead where the wild ones run, where the dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold. Meet me at the trailhead where we roll, where trails start and stories unfold. Meet me at the trailhead where the wild ones run, where the dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold. This is where trails start and our stories unfold. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.